Well, what's going on this table? Heather, you're doing some hand building over here?
I'm doing some hand building. Often what I love working in coils, so the coil method is going on here. I threw something on the wheel and then I'm interrupting that centrifugal form and making it asymmetrical, or making it a lot more organic.
Okay.
And I want it to go that direction, and it's not specific again. It's kind of trying to push the technical part of building it as much as I can. So it's a slow process. It has to stiffen up and then be worked a bit more, and I paddle it and scrape it. Yeah, so that's...
And here you are putting a glaze on.
And there is some of the domestic ware that I make. So that's just a milk jug, and it's being glazed and then painted on. And so that will end up being something along those lines. It's just
it's amazing.
More dealing, a little bit more scratching in, and that kind of
It's amazing how vibrant the colors become after the firing. So the fish imagery, because it's a water jug, the fish are in the water? Or?
Yeah, and fish are fun to paint. They have lots of colors and patterns, and they're not, if you've ever been in the Caribbean and swum under the water, everything goes. You can't really make something that can't be imagined as being, interpreted. So you don't want to spend hours and hours on these things. They're to be used, and they're not a magnificent final $1,000 jug. So
Okay, tell me about this piece on the table. That's fascinating to me. We sort of have you've been doing these constructions where you're placing pieces together, and this almost looks like a deconstruction of sorts.
Well, I started off with a little maquette like this, trying to think about, I've used the funnel a lot in my work at various times.
Okay, so explain why.
So this was the funnel.
Yeah.
Things coming in, feeding things,
Okay.
collecting things. Things don't work without nourishment.
Yeah.
Or so on. So this was just specifically trying to think about what the Intandem Exhibition was going to be all about. So in a very literal way, a man and a woman. So I started thinking about two heads resting in together. And I have some earlier work where I did two figures on a door, a revolving door. Over there. And so that idea of pairing them, and then all was well. It actually it did look like a woman and a man. And I mean, I'm not doing really figurative work as a rule, so it's kind of nice. But I was very just pushing the material around, and I wasn't really thinking about the long term. It was a sketch, really. I wonder what this would look like. So I like working big sometimes. So I went ahead and did that, and then I put the piece in the kiln very carefully, both heads, and the house that was supposed to be in the middle, and it turned out like this. It completely blew up.
It blew up.
Which I was like...
The man and the female relationship blew up in the kiln.
That's really taking it too close to the bone here.
So this was a maquette. This is a small maquette.
This was just the very first day I was playing around with, could you put two heads together? If you put two heads together, how much neck would have to be for them to lean in, and that kind of thing. So it's just like I could have done it out of
Well, it's kind of an interesting, that's a saying, let's put our heads together and make this work. So sort of that ongoing negotiation that happens in a marriage, right?
So they were kind of resting back and being sort of resigned into the balance of things.
So in these shards, we're basically looking at the neck, parts of the neck and the head.
Well, one head completely disappeared.
Wow.
Which is pretty
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of powerful.
So this is all that I could really find that was evidence of that other person. No mouth even.
But yeah, you begin to actually think along the same line, or, work out a compromise or a singular vision in order to move through life. So.
And sometimes people, they say this person really looks like their dog.
Yeah.
This couple, they couldn't really exist without each other. They've become one thing. And it doesn't have to be an eruption like this, but Yeah, I like that sort of, even at the end of your life, that you would, go back to dust. I mean, there's lots of ways that you could look at that, and that's what's nice about the work.
Mm-hmm.
People can call up their own conversation that they're having in their life with the work. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
me telling them what to think.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's.
It looks like a journey.
Yeah, it's got a real timeline to it. Seems like it's just turning into dust.
I love the geese in the background.
And there's something we'd like to say about Canada geese on tape.
All right. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.